YouTube, what is up? We're back in business. I'm finally starting to get a little bit better. You guys can probably hear it in my voice, and we have some exciting things to talk about. I feel like for the first time in a while with Call of Duty. If you guys saw my post the other day, as of right now, there's just nothing that I'm loving with gaming, whether it's Halo, Battlefield, or COD. I feel like they're all missing just a little something to make it so I can't really main any game right now. I'm kind of stuck between a rock and a hard place. But lots of new Warzone info coming out today, and that's what I'm gonna go over in today's video and see what you guys think as well. First and foremost, we got a weird little trailer that PlayStation released. This is just going to give us some good footage, and it's a minute long of the new Caldera map, so we're going to watch that together right now.
Travelers, explorers, adventure seekers. With all travel bans to Caldera lifted, you may now book tickets to Caldera on Pacific Horizon Air. Caldera, a hidden paradise.
Why are they making it feel like a commercial?
Enjoy awe-inspiring landscapes. Visit sites from
Oh my
Caldera's
gosh, the
storied
colors
past.
look amazing. There's no way it
Survey the
looks
land
this
from
good in
above
game.
by climbing natural rock formations. Explore underground caves. Take a dip in a river or stream. Fuel up on the artisanal organic produce.
Oh, the
harvested
aesthetic's
locally.
nice.
Caldera, the Emerald of the Pacific. Free flights starting December 9th. Pacific Horizon Air is not responsible for any death, parachute-related accidents, gas-related deaths, or injury, anti-aircraft fire, tennis elbow, food poisoning, or any similar instances. Should Pacific Horizon Air become engaged in aerial combat, an early exit may be required. What are you waiting for? Book your trip today.
Cool, I like that. So again, didn't really show us a ton, just more images of the map, but 8 days to go. 8 days to go until Warzone finally drops. As of right now, there's no info on if there's a next gen update for Warzone, and there's also no information on an FOV slider for consoles. So hopefully we hear something on those two things, but let's jump into what we do know. And the reason I'm making this video is to make it easy for you guys, so you don't have to go read through all this mumbo jumbo. But as we can see, first look at the map Caldera here, which looks massive. Now, if I remember correctly, this map Caldera, someone did a layover of the size of the maps, and this map is supposed to be just a little bit bigger, Caldera itself, than Verdansk that we're used to. So looks like there's a ton of places to drop and not as much open field area. This kind of EF and K look like more the hills that we're used to fighting in Verdansk, those big open areas. Other than that, something I'd love to see with this map, if they're only going to give us one map for Pacific, which I hope they don't and they've learned their lesson, but in the previous Battlefield, in their Battle Royale mode, they had a massive map, and they made it so when you dropped in, that map was kind of already started a little bit smaller, and the area outside of that was destroyed. So I would like to see something implemented the same, where sometimes I won't see the bottom of the map, the M, N, and D letters, because it's just not in the starting area, and then sometimes I will. I think that would change up the map a lot. I think that would give a good pace to the map, being that you have the chance to see some new things when really it's not new. It's the exact same map, but it's just different variations of it every time you spawn in with parts of that map, rather than the entire first circle being the whole map. It kind of cuts off a little bit. I like that in Battlefield, and if they're not going to give us two maps to play on, I'd like to see them implement something kind of similar. So as you know, on December 8th, all Vanguard owners are going to get 24-hour early access to Caldera, and then it's going to be free for the public after that. So on the 9th, if you haven't purchased Vanguard yet, you can go back, play Warzone just like we all were during quarantine and Modern Warfare's time. A lot of these images are just kind of discussing new parts of the map, and again, that's all stuff that we don't really need to read about. We can just kind of look at the images and inspect what's going on in them. And like I was saying, man, the colors look good. There's no way to know if the verticality of the map or the paces of the areas that they put in are going to flow well until we're playing it, but all I care about is that it looks more lively than Verdansk, and I swear that's all I need, man. Lots of different vibes, as you can see, whether it's the peak of the mountain where it's kind of just a weather station or something that they're building up there, but then also you can go to the beachhead where it's going to be similar to some multiplayer maps we've seen. River Village, which looks a lot like kind of the farmlands in Verdansk. They've got a lot of different kind of just art styles going into the map, all surrounded by the same aesthetic, which I'm excited about. It looks good. I mean, look, you can just tell, right? Like the village that I was just talking about compared to the terminal, like the airport. I think keeping all that in the same kind of like Hawaii vibe or whatever you want to call it is very important, and something I look forward to playing. So other than the lots and lots of images we've got for Caldera, that's pretty much it now, but we've got some good info as far as what gameplay is going to be like and changes to the game. So let's go over those. So when Pacific drops with Season 1, 40 weapons are going to come out, 38 from Vanguard's launch, as well as 2 free functional weapons in the Season 1 Battle Pass. We're going to have over a dozen operators, more calling cards, emblems, and stuff like that. And if you guys remember, they talked about this at the beginning, but there's going to be kind of the rebirth mode that we're all used to, as well as just a Vanguard only Warzone, which is where we're going to see the dogfighting in the plains, but then also a Warzone that has Cold War, Vanguard, and Modern Warfare, heartbeat sensors, Molotovs, STG, whatever it is. It's going to be just one mukbang of Call of Duty content. What would be nice is if all those game modes that I just said were really good, so you were able to switch between the three, not getting bored of just one goated game mode. I think that's something that Warzone, when it came out, 2 years ago, struggled with, is everything else they implemented, the side game modes and everything, just couldn't carry the game compared to the main game mode. So when the game releases, there'll be the Vanguard Royale and then the Battle Royale that includes everything. Something to note as well is Ricochet, their new anti-cheat, whatever that is, the PC kernel level driver, is required to play the new Warzone on December 8th. So we're gonna have to download that. So hopefully that eliminates a lot of the cheating that we've seen, because as you guys know as well as me, that's ruined Warzone. And honestly, part of the reason why I stopped playing it, because when I started playing COD again, when Warzone came out during quarantine, I played it a ton. Like, I'm not the biggest multiplayer guy. I've always been a search and destroy guy, but I would love to see myself return back to Warzone and kind of live there until Zombies gets its shit figured out. Something that looks like they're keeping with the gulag is players that win will now drop back with the weapon that they had. I think that's a good buff to the, the gulag system, because with loadouts, we're not going to see purchasable loadouts until after the free loadout is dropped in Warzone, which I love. I think ground loot needs to be more, relevant per se in the game. I think a lot of these BRs that I've, started playing before Call of Duty made their own, I love the fact of picking up attachments and kind of just having to be the better player and loot other people when you killed them, or else you were stuck with dog shit. So I'd like to see ground loot be a little bit more prevalent and loadouts harder to get, because I love playing with loadouts. I love being able to take an overkill class if I need it, or a ghost class if I need it, but I think that you should be able to hang in that final circle when you're playing against someone with a loadout if you don't have one. Like, honestly, that needs to be viable, and it's not, and it hasn't been, so hopefully it is. Other changes inside the game: dead silence is being nerfed, stopping power rounds are gone completely, stuns, heartbeat sensors, and dual wield melee weapons are also being nerfed, which I'm a fan of. I think that's important. And then they can tell us that we can expect some buffs to some lethal and tactical equipment. Now, something I'm really excited for, which has ruined many wins for me, is gas masks and explosive canisters. Now, the gas masks themselves won't interrupt as many actions, so you can focus on the action at hand, shooting your enemy, and not just being stuck taking your mask on and off. I know we've all died to that and screamed throwing our controller through our monitors, because it's literally the dumbest way to die. And something I kind of like is season 1, there's going to be those explosive canisters, kind of gas canisters, essentially the same thing as the zone, but you can impact players within the zone. So kind of like just a gas grenade, I guess, but it's going to do the same thing, making you require a mask, or I presume you take damage. So I like that. I'm a fan of that. It's a good idea. We're going to see shallow waters implemented. It talks about how in areas like Lagoon, it's going to make it harder to see enemy footprints, even when you have the tracker perk equipped. So kind of dope. It also goes on to talk about how operators who crouch in high water also gain effects of cold-blooded. Cool. And then any fire-based equipment now emits smoke when it hits the water, so offering new layers of tactics when traversing through that water. And it's looking like there's going to be a lot of that on the map. So now if you huck a molly or something, it's gonna, I don't know how they're going to implement that, but again, just more layers to the game, making it more realistic and tactical, I guess. We get a cool little leak for something that we're going to see in multiplayer for Vanguard that includes a Pacific inspired take on a fan favorite Call of Duty map, which I'm excited to see what that is, because not that I hate the Vanguard maps, I love the amount that we have, but I definitely think we could get more, and we haven't really seen a ton of throwbacks, so I'd love to see a remake, honestly. Also going to get another contract called Big Game Bounty, which targets the operator with the highest kill count, and I'm stoked for this one because that'd be fun to pick up, kind of like a blue shell in Mario. Just go hunt down the sweatiest fragger in the game. I'm assuming that one's going to pay really well, because if that guy's gunning everybody, he's probably got the highest chance of killing you too, so I'm excited to see how that is. And it seems like they confirmed that it's now going to take place in 1944. So the time period that we're going to be playing is 1944. And I just did read that the gulag is going to let you return with the weapon that you got to kill with inside of the gulag, so not like any loadouts beforehand. So just like we were used to in Iron Trials, I'm sure that they were kind of beta testing that and people seem to like it. So that's kind of what we can expect to see. Rebirth's going to return a little bit later in season 1. Like I said, right when it drops, we're only going to be able to play those 2 game modes, which I don't have a problem with. It's all new stuff. So other than that, not much to talk about. That's kind of it. That's all we got for now. Again, it comes out in a week, so I don't know how much other info they can give us other than us playing it and finding out for ourselves. We're going to be back to streaming tomorrow, so don't worry. We'll be playing. I'm not too sure what to play. It's probably going to be Halo, because I've been playing that and enjoying it quite a bit, or Vanguard, so come hang out tomorrow night. If you thought it was helpful, save you some time, leave a like. If you've made it to the end of the video, I love you. Sub if you haven't yet. We're trying to get to 100K, and I will see you guys in the comment section. See you in the next video. Have a kick-ass day if you're just starting it. Sleep well if you're just ending it. Peace out, guys.